Hi, my name is Tamika Robinson, and my speech is on domestic violence. These are signs of domestic violence. As you can see, anyone can be a victim of domestic violence, whether it's a woman, a man, or a child. According to the National Coalition of Domestic Violence, an estimated 1.3% of women are victims, and an estimated 500% of victims are men. To be honest, anyone watching this video might be a victim in the next month, or the next year, or the next decade. Also, according to the National Coalition of Domestic Violence, 45% of women are slapped, kicked, and beaten. 75% of battered women try to commit suicide. 77% of men feel that their masculinity is being taken away from them if their wives don't listen. And 55% of the women perceive themselves to being that the violence is part of their marriage. A lot of domestic violence cases are not reported, and when they are, the police are very slow as trying to get with the case. And unfortunately, sometimes it can lead to death. My friend was one of those cases. She was stabbed and killed by her husband of 1 month. So in honor of her and other domestic violence victims and survivors, I helped create an expo called Soul of a Woman, which we will do March 2013 in her honor, as well as many others, and also bring the awareness of domestic violence out. According to domesticviolence.org, some examples of abuse is name calling or put downs, stopping a partner from getting or keeping a job, sexual assault, stalking, intimidation, and the list goes on and on. I am a domestic violence survivor. At 22, I was dating a guy who I thought of as the world. He physically abused me as well as mentally in my mind. He tried to break my spirit, but I survived. The worst case that I had with him was that he did drag me out of our apartment in my pajamas, and my 2 young boys saw that. I was glad that I was able to get away from him. I researched and saw celebrities in domestic violence situations. The most recent was Chad Ochocinco and his ex-wife, Evelyn Lozada. She was headbutted by him when they got into an altercation. The most famous case right now would have to be Rihanna and Chris Brown. It happened, I believe, 2 years ago, and the pictures basically speak for themselves. He beat her in a car after she read a text message on his phone. The next case was Mel Gibson and his ex-girlfriend, Isanka Vera. He hit and choked her as well as sent her threatening messages through phone calls. The best thing to do to prevent domestic violence is to have the person to leave. Sometimes they can't do that, so please let family and friends know what is going on if you are a victim of domestic violence. Try to get help from an outside source like National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is 1-800-799-SAFE, or go to a domestic violence shelter. If you support domestic violence victims, please call the police if you hear or see violence. Reach out and support somebody. Try to help personally. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't want to do that because of the ramifications, but it could really save someone's life. Also, in my opinion, expand the education and awareness of domestic violence, as well as try to fund shelters accurately. and make sure that we help domestic violence victims as much as we can. Thank you.